Morning all. Uh, Today we have here with us Mr. Dulip Wijethilake, who is the former head of HR designated to direct the country human resource at Citibank. He is having over 24 years of experience in human resource management. He had been a president of Slim Toastmasters Club and still an active member. We have seen him engaging in executive coaching, paper marking, paper settling, teaching, and so on. Mr. Dulip, actually, from your own words, can you tell us who Dulip Wijethilake is?
Good morning, everyone. Sally, and thank you very much for giving a very brief introduction about myself. And I really appreciate the fact that you invited me for this conversation. And I'm glad to help you with whatever the inputs that I can give you. First of all, the question that you asked is to introduce myself briefly. Primarily, I have been a banker for 24 years. When I say a banker, I have been in the banking industry, but I have been handling human resources for 24 years in two banks, namely Ceylon Bank and one of the multinational banks in Colombo, that is Citibank. So if I am to introduce myself for the purpose, I would say I have been a person who have been enjoying my role right throughout over the 24 years for a variety of reasons. And if somebody asked me to tell a key feature of my role and how I have been playing it, I would say it's about enjoying what you do. So by and large, I will introduce myself as someone who enjoys work at every moment, irrespective of the situation or the crisis. It could be a smooth situation, it could be a troublesome situation, but nevertheless, I have been always enjoying my role right throughout, Sally. Hope that helps you start the conversation. Yes.
Mr. Dulip, to a person to grow, there should be some influences from the environment as well. So do the family and education. What is your family background and educational background?
Right. So I come from a large family. When I say large, there are 6 members in my family and the 2 parents. So altogether 8. So you can understand the age of the person as well who you're interviewing right now, because nowadays you don't see that many people in a single family. Most of us are bankers, but generally speaking, it was not a chosen profession for us. It was a default profession. Qualification wise, I have done my MBA, then I have my banking qualification, full qualification, and the marketing full qualification. I'm a member of the Sri Lanka Institute of Credit Management as well. I have done a high diploma in human psychology from a university in the UK. Plus, I have a little bit of accounting background as well, where I have completed ACC up to stage 3. So that is kind of the educational background that I have. More than that, I enjoy working in practical situations, handling them, because paper qualification helps, but it's about how you apply most of your knowledge and skills to various situations, I believe, Sally.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Dulip. If we talk about the factors now, people are affected with so many factors to shape up in themselves. So what are the other factors that made you achieve in your career? Was there any turning point, or there can be several turning points? Can you tell us, is there any specific turning point that made you come here?
Sure, Sally. That's a very pertinent question. Most people have several turning points in their lives, but I'm very honest in what I say. I have not had any turning points in my life, because when I say that there were no turning points, every day was a turning point when I say that. So there is no very specific time or a turning point which I can tell you, which would have turned around my life or my professional life. There is none. But generally speaking, every day is a turning point, because when you work for a multinational company or a corporate sector organization, you will come across many challenges every day, almost every day. So every day is becoming a turning point. But one important fact that I would like to highlight here is, Sally, which might be helpful for the listeners and the audience as well. Irrespective of the situation, I have always been maintaining genuineness, truthfulness, trust with the audience who I have dealt with. So that is something that I always did. I have never compromised these qualities with anyone right throughout. So that would have been probably a reason why I was able to kind of achieve a very high rank in a multinational organization very fast. Probably because I have been able to maintain a lot of trust with people, and that would have been mostly the reason why uh, I was able to succeed in my professional career, Sally.
Yeah, thanks. Uh, your profile proves that you are a multitasker. Every day, every moment, you spend a lot of time with many different people, especially as the head of HR. Further, you led people not only in corporate sector, but also some more people in social events. So far, for what do you take most of your time? How do you manage all these activities effectively?
Right. Now, Sally, you use the word multitasking. So I would like to clarify this word a little bit further. There's a misconception in the market where people think the meaning of multitasking is about one handling multiple tasks at a given time. It's not the case. You can't do multiple things at a given point of time. You can do only one thing at a point at a time. So therefore, multitasking does not mean that you handle hundred or thousands of work at a given moment. Doesn't mean that. What it actually means is you have the capability to manage your mindset to handle multiple functions at a very short period of time. For example, say you have to since I'm coming from the HR background, I will use some of the examples from that background itself. Say you have to approve some of the payroll activities, and you have to attend a very important meeting with your senior management, and then you may have another meeting line up on a employee disciplinary matter, and you have got a letter from the Inland Revenue saying we have not received your taxes on time. So there are several things that you have to attend to. Plus, you have certain governance requirements to comply with in the morning hours. So there are several things that you have to look into. Now you can't do all these things at once. So you should prioritize what you have to do first. That's how you have to manage it. So multitasking means your ability to balance your mind so that it will not disturb the current function that you're handling. Somebody who does not have the multitasking ability, what would happen is when the person understands that there is a series of work lineup for the day, he or she will not do any of the work right. So he will make mistakes at every point. So therefore, somebody who has the ability to multitask will know how to handle situations. He will handle one problem, one case, finish it off. If not finished, he'll leave it there, go to the next one, have a clear mindset, handle it, and either you finish it or you leave it for that moment. Go to the next task, you do it, come back, do the next one. So that is about multitasking. So and you said my profile shows that I am spending a lot of time with people. Yes, which I do. Uh, what is important here is one of the key words that I used earlier is about genuineness. Now, if you have a genuine interest in people to help them without any expectations, when I say a genuine interest in people, it would mean that you don't have any expectations to receive, or you will not have any idea of receiving something back from that employee, from that person. So you will wholeheartedly spend your time, your efforts, skills, knowledge, whatever that you have, your resources towards other people, but you will not expect anything. So that's about being genuine. It's not a simple word as such. It's a complex word, and it becomes complex when you don't know the meaning of it. Hope I answered your question, Sally. But you may ask further questions if I didn't.
Thank you. That clarifies what I really wanted to clarify. Yeah, thank you. Irina?
Sure.
Good morning, Mr. Dulip. This is Tilina. Our next question is, you are managing many people in corporate sectors as well as non-corporate sectors. As example, as the president of Toastmasters Club. Do you work with many leaders? So how do you take decisions? And is that a collaborative ways? Or what are the best practices you use to manage people?
Right. So I will take a couple of steps back here. one of the key things that I always maintain, as I said earlier as well, is genuineness, and to create trust in people. So when you work with different leaders of different mindset, different skills and experiences, there's a chance of leading certain conversations to conflicts. So you as a leader should be able to manage them well. And what I do about it is, whenever I announce a decision, or whenever I share a decision that I would like to make on a matter, I would not at once say the decision. I will not tell that, but I would give a background to the decision. So I will clarify some of the key points that would have helped me to make the decision and make them very transparent. And I will show pluses, minuses of certain elements, uh, positives, negatives, possible outcome. And I keep some of the information secret when I make certain decisions and when I announce them. Why I keep certain information secret is because if the question arises only, I will use them as trumps. So I would essentially, before I announce a decision, I would clarify why I made that decision, why would I would like to make that decision, and then I would announce the decision. So then there will be people, different leaders who will have different opinions. And then the second point here is, while you will have announced your decision, you should have the capacity to change it also. Now, here the point is, you should be able to trust the knowledge and the experience of other people. You should be able to value them. And otherwise you will become highly autocratic when you make decisions. So your decision is not the perfect decision in the world. So to a problem or to a scenario, there can be several feedback, or there can be several solutions. So your solution is not the only one. Sometimes you become blind when you make decisions. So here, what I do is, I always listen to the views of the other people, and I respect it genuinely. Not that I listen to those views or their feedback for the sake of it. I listen to them with a purpose, and then I would most of the time change my decision, go with what they say. Uh, but but if a decision is highly unaccepted by the audience, and if they make a drastically different decision, then I would still maintain my position by saying, okay, we can go ahead with the decision, but these are the possible risks and this can be an outcome, and I would like to inform it officially to all of you, because with my experience, this is how it has happened in the past. So when you say that, people sometimes think over, they would probably change their mindset once again. So it becomes another discussion level. So that's how I have been handling decisions, making certain announcements with people, not only the organization, but in outside the organization also, in some of the forums where I work with people. That's how I have always been. So here, when people don't trust you, your decision is also not trusted. So here the key point here is the ability to manage your stakeholders, maintain trust with them, show your genuineness genuinely, not you don't have to exhibit it, but you have to perform it so that they become understandable of who you are. So that is about it, Thilina. If any missing points, you can please ask.
Right. And other one is, what is your biggest achievement in your career? And is there any role model or special character you admire in your journey? And how is that person helps to build up your career so far?
Honestly speaking, I don't have a role model. In fact, uh, from childhood, I have never been following any person or any individual, any character. But I have always been watching them, observing how different people act on different situations and why they do it. So that analysis has been always there, but I have never followed an individual. In other words, I have not had a role model. I don't think I will have a role model in the future as well. But I admire a lot of characteristics of various people. So I would not name any of them right now because there are many. Uh, but I don't usually go with global leaders or global entrepreneurs or businessmen. The reason is they come from different backgrounds, different cultures. their financial stability is different. They have deep pockets. They have the ability to manage their resources well. But in a local context, it's different. So I always go with local individuals when I observe them. Of course, I observe the other people, but when it comes to applying it to the local context, I go with local leaders. Why did they do it like that? And most of the people don't value local individuals, but I do value them because uh, it's not easy for a country like us to become a giant even within the geography. So that way, I observe many local leaders when I kind of try to understand why they behave in certain situations differently, etc.
Can you elaborate a little bit about your biggest challenge of your career life?
In fact, when you ask that question, there's nothing that comes into my mind. Every day was a challenge. As I said,
Yeah.
every day was a turning point for me. So every day was a challenge. So every day when I get up in the morning, I consider it as a challenging day because practically it's a challenging day. It's about how you take it. So you expect to receive challenges, and then you expect to enjoy these challenges as well. So I will not have any specific challenge in life, but of course there were challenging situations whenever I was trying to whenever I was trying to find different transitions in my life. Example, well, I was working for the Ceylon Bank PLC long time ago. I was trying to join different other companies, and I went for interviews with those people, and some of them couldn't trust my skills and experience. They couldn't trust my potential. So those are challenging situations for me. Probably it depends on how you project yourself at the interview as well. So I don't find fault with the interview panel here, but these were kind of challenging situations for me to project myself, show who I am to the general public or to the audience, which was challenging. But otherwise, work, managing people, difficult situations, arguments, conflicts, these were not challenges to me. And I will not find them as challenges at all. Because the reason why I could find them as not non-challenging situations is because I used to look at things genuinely, purposefully, with an objective. I always look at the situation only. I have never looked at people. I don't look at people. Why did he make this? Why did she do this? Why did she didn't do this? I don't look at the individual uh, when I look at situation. I look at the purpose only, the objective. I would see can't why this can't be done in this way. What if we do it this way? So I look at the solution only. So that way I didn't have that many challenges, Tilina.
Right. Thank you. And then next one is, could you please describe us a time you had to make a tough decision? As example, COVID pandemic, budget cutting, organizational restructuring, so on. So then, what did you do, and what was the result? Then,
Right. So Tilina,
yes.
multinational organizations, there is no one individual who will make a drastic decision. It's always a common decision that two people would make. Unlike in local organizations where the director board is present here, where one or two directors or the chairman will have to make a drastic decision, or someone at the next level, that is at the board level, lower than the board level, that is the senior management level, may have to make decisions. So they may go right, they may go wrong. But in my case, so I became, so my role in the multinational organization was such that all our decisions were made through contributory process. But of course, as the HR head, there were situations that that I had to make certain decisions on certain situations. So I would not name them here because that's something that I should not be doing. Um, so even those decisions, uh, it's about how you communicate the decisions to the employee or to the person or to the stakeholder or to the mm, uh, to the organization or the external pressure group or whatever. So again here, the fact that I explain the background of the situation and the reason for the decision, and any other additional points that may help the audience to, or the individual or the audience to receive the decision positively. So that explanation has been always helpful for me.
Sir, so what is your biggest strength actually? So in succeeding your career?
Right. So the biggest strength that I have is the ability to maintain a highly peaceful mind when I manage situations. That is the biggest strength that I have. The ability to control my mind, the ability to have a peaceful mind, even in crisis situations, difficult situations, in conflicts. I have never fought with people in audiences, but I have always been very strong in my decisions when I present my views. And the same way I take the decisions and the views of the other people also strong, as strong. So I would say the ability to, the self-regulation is one of the key strengths that I have. That is the biggest strength that I have, Roshan.
And on the other side, and what is your actually main weakness? So
right. So one of the key weaknesses that I have is the timeliness of decisions. Now, certain decisions, as I said, I don't make quick decisions, and which goes sometimes wrong. Usually, if the situation is not a crisis situation, if there is time, I would delay some of the decisions, and that has become a weakness because there are other people, other parties who may make decisions faster and then deal with the situation. So then you would lose the control of the situation. So that's a weakness. But yet, that weakness, there are means and ways of converting it to a strength, or convert them to opportunities. That's all depends on how you look at it once again. So the ability, the facts that I make certain decisions a bit late has been a challenge some of the times.
So, so how do you advise to future leaders so who are trying to become a good leader in their career?
Correct. So one of the key things, I think probably the most important and the required, the mandatory skill would be the leader should be act like a mother. So in a family, as you know, mother would be always ready to sacrifice anything for their children, right? So for example, say there's a family who is not that rich, since they may have issues with food supply, etc. So have you seen in certain families the mother forego her meal on behalf of the children? So leaders should be able to forego things. So when I say forego things, it's not about material things. It's not about the salary compensation, not your prestige, nothing like that. You should be able to forego your expectations. Say, for example, you as a leader expect people to work the way you tell them to work, but it doesn't happen. So you have expectation which is not met. So you should be able to forego that expectation. If you are trying to strike with that expectation, and if you're trying to align yourself with the expectation to meet it, you would, on the other side, you will demotivate your people. So you as a leader should be able to give up and give in things. Doesn't mean that you will fail, but without that, I don't think you will be able to be a good leader. Sometimes your followers, your people may receive all the good in the world, but you may not receive anything. You may receive all negatives. So you as a leader should be able to expect, not really expect, you should be able to be with it, accept it. And that's one of the key things a leader should have. So I don't generally go by, I appreciate that there are theories about leadership, and there are certain models that the leadership around leadership that the authors talks about. All that is useful, but I think practically a leader has to be a self-motivated person who has the ability to give in and give up things, who should be able to bear certain losses, sacrifice on behalf of his people, and that's how I think a leader is made.
So you mentioned you have been trying to be genuine always. So is that the main quality a leader should have?
Yes, it's about being genuine. Now, so I would have to probably take a practical example here. Now, in most organizations, at least once a year or thrice a year or every quarter, you may have certain gatherings with your people, staff gatherings. Now, in books, what you see is you talk about networking with people, how networking helps you, and networking abilities and points you should do and should not do. So these are now confined to books. But the fact that you show a genuine interest in people, say for example, if you don't feel like talking to somebody, you should not be talking. Doesn't mean that you dislike that person. And if you try to make up your mind, make up yourself, show a different picture in front of somebody else, they'll understand it. Instead, if you don't feel like talking, maybe because you're tired, or you have a different item to think about, or you have different expectations the next moment, so you will not be able to probably speak with everyone. But would not mean that you will exhibit yourself walking around everyone, showing a fake face and a smile with to people. So the people, because people feel it. So you don't talk to a person in a particular gathering at all, and that person might think that this person didn't talk to me, even didn't talk to me. So, and that expectation or that feeling would disappear when you talk to that person next time, because when you are genuine, you can't fabricate. When you're genuine, it's a genuine role. You may fight, you may argue, you may find good with people, you may appreciate them. So when you're genuine, you can't have you can't have two thoughts. It's only one thought. Right? So over a period of time, people will understand who you are, and it becomes a solid relationship. And there's no more networking than that.
So I have one more question. So more, probably you are a decision maker. So and you may ask others to execute it. So how do you create loyal followers? So and how do you create good people to execute
Right.
it successfully?
Yes, I think Roshan, that's probably the best question that you asked, right? So what I actually do is these are I practically do it. Irrespective, this can be the organization, it can be outside the organization. How I actually do it like this: say you have 4 people reporting to you, for example. See, you have a decision about a situation, how are you going to manage the situation. So how I actually do is I would speak with those people and say, this is how I can think of doing it, and these are the reasons why I think this is the best way to do it. But you may have a different way of doing it, different view, which might be much better than what I said. So could you also tell me the best way to do it? There is no hurry, there is no urgency. Take some time and let me know. So that is for a decision that there is time for you to do. So you will get them involved. You, not that I do it because I have to get them involved. I do it genuinely. I genuinely want to see what views that they would have, whether they have a different way of doing it. Because I believe in their talent. I believe in their creativity, their experience, skills. I truly believe in other people. So that is why I put them back to them, say, this is how I would do it, but do you have a different way of doing it? Say it's a different one. You have to make a quick decision. There's no time for you to discuss, or there's no time for you to kind of have any further conversation. So it's a quick decision. At that point, I would say there is no time for us to discuss or converse on this. Therefore, this is the way that I can think of. We'll do it and see whether it works or not. I will take the responsibility. You don't worry. I will be responsible. I'll take care of you. You do it like this. So I give them the confidence to do it, because my decision may be sometimes wrong, but I give them the confidence saying, I am going to take the responsibility. You do it. And I would do it not by bending any rules of the organization. I have never bent rules of the organization. I have always complied with it. But I'm just talking about general situations. If so, one thing that I have always done is, whenever there's a mistake that has happened, or whenever there is a potential issue that is there, I have always highlighted to the next level, and I have told them this is how it's going to be, and this how I always have gone with a solution. So That's the way, that's the approach that I take, Roshan.
And probably you will have to deal with many other leaders. So even in your organization, there may be some more leaders. So their style probably may be different from your style. So how do you manage those and difficulties? There may be some conflicts, and how do you deal with them successfully?
Right. First thing is, Roshan, I don't change my style to suit the other person's style. You are right. If there are 10 people, they have different style, 10 different styles. But I have never tried to compromise my style with the styles of other people. But here, the important point is I have always been trusting their talent, skills, experience, what they say, because I really observe in what they say. Because I don't disregard any view. I always give the right regard to all the views of every leader, every other leader. And honestly speaking, in the world, even a child, if you take, when a child gives you feedback about a situation or a response, there is a reason behind it. Not that it's not just a feedback or a response. If you go back, if you think back, if you go on the route the child or the other leader thinks on the situation, you will also come across some solid ideas behind it. So it's about respecting their decision. But I have not changed my style, Roshan. Irrespective of the situation, I have been always calm, peaceful. I have never, I have not panicked in situations.
So normally you are not an aggressive person, or so what kind of person you are? You are more patient.
In fact, I am more patient, but I have the aggressive nature in my within myself. But I can, as I told you, I have the ability to self-regulate my thoughts. So I don't use aggressiveness all the time. When required, very slightly I use it. So aggressiveness does not mean that you have to shout aloud, or you have to hit on the table. Nothing like that. Aggressive means you stick to your decision. You stick to what you view.
For me also, this session also interesting for me, and I also personally learn a lot from you because you have a considerable amount of experience, so a lot of knowledge. Then I am really appreciated your participation for our to success our this effort, Mr. Dulip. Thank you very much.
Do you remember I told something about a decision? I said, if the decision is drastically different to the decision that I would like to make, then I would show them the repercussions of it. And I would tell the rest of the leaders, this is how it will be impacting, and these are the possible problems, issues that you may face, and you will not have a solution for these results if you make this decision. So that is about being aggressive in a professional context. Doesn't mean that you have to shout so that other people can hear what you say, etc. Aggressive means you are internally aggressive, but it's not shown physically. It's shown through decisions only.
This session also interesting for me, and I also personally learn a lot from you because you have a considerable amount of experience, so a lot of knowledge. Then I am really appreciated your participation for our to success our this effort, Mr. Dulip. Thank you very much.
So it was actually a great experience to talk with you. So thank you very much for sharing your valuable thoughts and giving a time for us. So actually, we wish you all the very best for your future. So thank you once again, sir.
So I would also like to wish Sally, Tilina, Roshan, and all the members of your batch to complete their MBA program successfully. And it's a valuable MBA that you are following right now, one of the best in the world. If you see the ranking, there is a lot of recognition for your MBA globally. And I would like to wish all of you the very best and the success in all your future endeavors and your families, your loved ones, etc. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.